Hello, and welcome to the first episode of our new Patreon series, Futurefilm, where we will be exploring the intersection of retrofuturism and film by looking at past predictions of the future featured in movies. Now, this is going to be similar to Future Tunes, where it'll be less about reviewing or breaking down a film and more about contextualizing the future it depicts. This episode, obviously, is going up on the channel for free, but going forward, it will be available for all $5 patrons and up exclusively at patreon.com/picsandportraits. None of our videos are monetized. We are 100% viewer-supported, so if you like what we do and want to keep these videos coming out, please consider becoming a patron, patreon.com/picsandportraits. So, with that out of the way, I'd like to clarify something before we get into the video. Retrofuturism does not always have to be scientific or even serious. Judging by some of the comments I see, I feel like some people think just because we talk about past visions as predictions that I think everything was produced under the belief that it could potentially come true. This is false. Retrofuturism says more about the past than it does about the future, and while some visions set out to speculate on possible tomorrows, sometimes they can just be fun, like it is here. Today, we are going to be looking not only at one of my favorite movie franchises, but also one of my favorite futures in Back to the Future Part 2. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Back to the Future, but just in case you are not, or as a refresher, I'd like to give a little bit of background on the film and the universe for some context, spoilers, obviously. Released in 1985, Back to the Future followed Marty McFly, a high school student who goes back to the year 1955 thanks to a time machine invented by Doc Brown. There, he nearly prevents his birth by interfering in his parents' meeting. Instead of Marty's mother, Lorraine, falling in love with his father, George, she falls in love with him. From there, the plot navigates light incest and how exactly Marty will get his parents together and himself back to the future. I'm not here to challenge any of the paradoxes this presents, or even explore the possibility of time travel, but I do think Back to the Future does a lot of interesting things with the relationship between future and past. We are living at once both in the future and the past, and that is expressed here in the franchise as a whole through genetics. We see generations of McFlys and how the decisions of one affect the others in the future. I think the closest you can come to traveling back in time is understanding those who came before you. Your parents were more like you, or you are more like them than you may think. Progress is also demonstrated through the town the series is set in, Hill Valley. A huge plot point revolves around the clock tower, which connects all three films. We see it built, damaged, and the community efforts to preserve it. Changing social norms are addressed as well. Goldie Wilson, a busboy who was met with skepticism in 1955 that a person of color could become mayor, is mayor in 1985. While it isn't blatant, the US president is also a woman in 2015, which is the future in the series and one of the settings in Back to the Future Part 2. Revisiting this movie is a trip, now that 2015 is firmly in our past. Like the third film as well, it is more or less a rehash or inverted version of the first. Instead of seeing his parents, Marty meets and interacts with his kids. It is still viewing the past through futuristic eyes, but where the future in Part 1 was 1985, that is now the past, both in film, actually, and real life. This was produced in 1989 and takes place again in 2015, October 21st, 2015 to be exact. Marty, Doc, and Marty's girlfriend Jennifer arrive in this future on the Skyway, a highway for flying cars, so cars fly, obviously. They also have barcode license plates. Personally, I think the Skyway is a little absurd. For just 30 years, the jumping technology is wild, but this is an optimistic future. Granted, we don't see a whole lot outside of Hill Valley, but if we pause on the newspaper here, we do get a glimpse of the outside world and the political situation. The US president is a woman. We learn that she is tired, and Washington is preparing for a visit from Queen Diana. Obviously, Princess Diana passed away in 1997, and the Queen is still kicking as of April 2021, at least. No female president as of yet. There is also apparently a sport known as slam ball, which came true, in a way. Their playoffs are starting, and a baseball pitcher has been suspended for using a bionic arm. Transhumanism. People are able to modify their bodies using bionic imprints that alter the way the body functions. These are illegal, although there are pushes for legalization. We see posters for Prop 237, legalize bionics. People are also able to stay young looking thanks to rejuvenation clinics, where you can get hair, skin, and blood treatments. There have been advancements in meteorology, and weather is able to be forecast to the second. The clothing of this future, 2015, is fitted. We see a jacket that form fits to the wearer, as well as a pair of Nike Mags, magnetic anti-gravity, with power laces, basically self-tying shoes. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say the most desired piece of tech from the movie is a hoverboard, a floating skateboard we see various models of, including one from Mattel. I love the references to real-life brands and seeing how they're adapted in the future, like the Texaco gas station or Hydrator Pizza Hut. This is pizza made at home thanks to the Black & Decker Hydrator. Studio actually had a tie-in with Pizza Hut and a promotion where you could get futuristic sunglasses, which is pretty cool. Pepsi Perfect. Soft drink variants were huge at the time of production. This is a parody of those, though Pepsi actually did a limited release of Pepsi Perfect in 2015 to coincide with the franchise's 30th anniversary. Jaws 19, we see advertised, which introduces us to Holofilm, the future of 3D. This was on the tail end of the 80s 3D revival that Jaws 3D was a part of, and it did predict a second revival in the late 2000s. There is also holographic news and advertising. A descendant of Goldie Wilson advertises hover conversion systems, so this teaches us that older cars can be converted to be flying cars for the modest price of $40 grand. This is also how we learn the Chicago Cubs win the World Series, which they were only off by a year. The Cubs did win in 2016. By far my favorite aspect of this feature is how it looks at the past. The antique store, which is spot on. This is what modern nostalgia shops look like. We see the Jaws NES game, a Dustbuster, and some merchandise featuring Roger Rabbit, which was produced around the same time and shared a lot of talent with Back to the Future. We also get the incredible set piece, Cafe 80s. This was a parody of the tacky 50s throwback restaurants that still exist today, but were very popular in the 80s, like Mel's Diner. 50s nostalgia was huge in the 80s. The Back to the Future franchise was in a way built off of it. This was expressed most often in commercials using doo-wop music or jingles, which makes sense given the people producing this stuff would have grown up in the 50s and were simply channeling their nostalgia. With Cafe 80s, the film predicts children of the 1980s will do the same in the future, which absolutely happened. There was a resurgence in 80s nostalgia, think Stranger Things or Ready Player One. If you haven't experienced it yet, someday your music, fashion, and references will all be dated. That's just the passing of time, and this film does a great job of capturing that. Television advanced to include the scenery channel. Again, totally happened. They also get the flat screen TVs right, but predict we would use the extra space to watch multiple things at once, which we can also do, but I don't know why you would want to. These screens are also used for video calling that show the hobbies, favorite foods, and even occupation of the people you're speaking with, similar to Facebook in a way. They did not predict that fax machines would become antiquated, though. In the future, the McFlys apparently live in a poorer neighborhood, according to the police officers that dropped Jennifer off, but we still have plenty of modern conveniences and a pretty big house, so again, optimistic. It is here we are introduced to the OrthoLev, a medical device that aided people with mobility issues. George McFly uses one, though this was apparently thought up as a way to disguise the fact that they had changed actors. Crispin Glover refused to reprise the role and was replaced by Jeffrey Wiseman. If you want to see what Crispin Glover was up to instead, I suggest looking up Clowny Clown Clown. Unlike a lot of franchises from this time, Back to the Future hasn't been heavily exploited, though in 2015 it did experience a brief resurgence, as it was not only the 30th anniversary of the film's release, but also the future featured in the sequel. I am hoping to explore this and the different ways Back to the Future has been used to signify the future in advertising in the coming weeks over on Patreon. There was also a futuristic episode of Back to the Future, the animated series, which may be popping up on Future Tunes soon, so look forward to that. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and again, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Going forward, this series will be available exclusively there, but I hope you have enjoyed this preview. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.